The Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live game mode, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET, at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Head over to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Use the promo code MADNESS for 10% off orders of $40 or more. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne, up in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, March the 9th, possibly. And we are here to have a look through three competitions we had a look through this week. Premier League, Champions League, Europa League is live as we speak. And then we've got a full card of Premier League, back to our spiritual homeland, a full 10-game Premier League card on the weekend. And joining me, as ever, is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazza, Arit?
I've been better. I'm struggling
You're
with
not well, son. Oh, no.
I've had a bit of a cough and the snivels, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. Been off work today, laid on the sofa all day long, snoozing. But yeah, ready to handicap another full weekend of Premier League.
You've pulled yourself together enough to make some picks, have you?
Yeah, I've had plenty of time on my hands today, so hopefully there's some good picks to put out.
Have you been looked after by the wife and family, or have they just ignored you?
Not at all. Absolutely nothing. Like
bastards.
I'm still having to put the bins out, make the dinner, all of this sort of stuff. Drives me mad. I asked her to get us some paracetamol the other day. It took her 3 hours. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. I want no chance here. And what'll happen is she'll pick up the same virus I've got over the next few days, and then I'll be expected to run around and do everything.
That's your International Women's Day for you, Buzz. We are we're live on YouTube again this evening, looking good, and on Twitter. So if you've joined us on there, say hello. Captain Insano is in the chat. Captain, I feel like I've spent more time with Captain Insano this week than I've spent with my old family. We have done 20 World Baseball Classic shows. We've done some MLB stuff. There's another MLB show going live in an hour, so if Captain's going to follow that, I might get involved in that, Captain. I might join you and give Moonaf a bit of grief tonight just for the crack. I'll hide behind some a false name on YouTube and just give him some stick. So nice to have you on board. So, yeah, what we're going to do, we'll have a look back on, say, Premier League was on Monday night. We had Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Europa League tonight. My picks have been bad. I've cashed one live in the Man United Betis game, which hasn't really got me out of jail, but it's left me kind of respectable. I think you did all right though, Baz. I think you're 3-3. Yeah, 3-3 with one in the balance.
Yeah, up and down all over the place. I can't get two on the same night. Done all right Monday night, and then Tuesday, 1 winner, 1 loser. Wednesday, 1 winner, 1 loser. I lost on the Arsenal game earlier, and Man United game's not going in my favour tonight. So definitely a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, that first week of European football, when I declared myself a European expert, I think I went off a bit soon, but because I mean, as it up, well, we'll get to it. Listen, this Brentford Fulham game, the Premier League, there was two things about this. It seems like it was months ago, even though it was on Monday night. And when did Fulham score a second goal? Because I must have turned it off in a paddy by then, because I didn't realise it was 3-2 until halfway through my handicap tonight.
Yeah, that was very late on. I thought exactly the same as you tonight before I come on here. I thought, not about the goal. I knew it was.
Oh, right, okay.
But about it feeling like it was weeks ago. Like
yeah.
So yeah, 3-2 in the end, wasn't it? But it was far more comfortable than that, really, for Brentford. I think 3-1, 85 minutes. It was 99 minutes. That was the.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. Actually, fully enough, on the Monday night, I'd seen it went 3-1. And then I'm sat there 15 minutes later thinking, I've had no update. It must be finished. And then it was like 10:05 or something. It come up.
No, okay.
3-2. So I remember thinking at the time, I thought that was done ages ago. But yeah, where did you go on that one, Malcolm? I can't remember.
I took the draw, Baz. So there wasn't much in the game. Fulham equalised, and I felt quite good about myself. And then it was a dodgy penalty. Brentford got a dodgy penalty. However, so I mean, I was claiming I was a little bit unlucky there. But they're not probably. There's a clear red card on Lukic from Fulham at the end of the first half. The referee absolutely dropped his arse and didn't send Lukic off. And that would have changed the game in Brentford's favour. So I couldn't really claim much bad luck. But you took both teams to score, Baz, which was cash before half-time. Nice.
Yeah, it was nice and easy for me, that one. I fancied goals in this one. Fulham have got a good record of scoring at the moment. I think they've scored 6 on the bounce. I think I recall from handicap in the next lot of games. You look at the XG from the games, it was 2.5 Brentford, 1.5 Fulham. So loads of chances there. 6 shots on goal for Brentford, 5 for Fulham. It all played nicely to me. It was a really good start to the week.
Yeah, 2 teams going well. Quite good fun to watch, both of them. Tuesday, Champions League. This was my bad beat. This is the one that really made a difference for me. Benfica 5, Bruges 1. Because I took Benfica to win to 0. And it was 5-0. And I didn't even see that goal till maybe an hour and a half later. About 11:30 again, I'd tapped out. I've got to, whenever there's about 10 minutes left in these games, Baz, I'm a creature of habit. I go and run the bath. I stick the bath on. And then I'll get myself in the bath. So if there's any extra time or late shenanigans, I miss it because I'm wallowing is what's going on.
87 minutes, that goal as well.
Yeah, so it was 5-0, 87.
7-0 on aggregate at the time. You just think. But I nailed this one. I really like Benfica to win well. I took them in the handicap. They were a good price and never really looked like losing them from half-time. They were 2-0. Quickly 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Shame we didn't get on the ladder on this one because I did fancy. We said how shit Bruges are. So Scott Parker's been sacked, hasn't he, I think, now? Yes,
Scott Parker got the 9-10 jack. I have no idea how he got the job in the first place, frankly. That seems to be an accident. It's like they got the wrong bloke.
But yeah, the other thing I picked out in this, so obviously I took the handicap, which was good, but I picked out a goal scorer, Gonzalo Ramos. I think it was 11-10.
Ramos.
Scored just on a stroke of half-time, scored again in the second half, so he bagged 2 in the end. So yeah, best game of the week for me. 2 picks from 2 in that one.
Nice. Chelsea 2, Dortmund 0. I took Dortmund. I was wrong, but I knew why I'd be wrong, and I did say why I'd be wrong. Is that Chelsea did this thing that they always do. They just decide in the Champions League they want to go and win, and it's up to them if they want. It's got nothing to do with the manager ever. If they want to go and win, they'll go and win. They've done this for 20 years, and they were absolutely brilliant. It's baffling. It makes it more annoying. It makes it worse how dog shit they are in the Premier League. They were great. They dominated from absolutely start to finish. You took Dortmund on the double chance, so that was a loser as well. But do you want to try and explain what Chelsea are up to, Baz?
Not really. I mean, I was happy with my pick when I made it on Sunday night. But then the game comes round on the Tuesday night, and you had that fear that you didn't know what Chelsea would turn up, or in fact, you almost did know. You did.
That's the thing. That's why I mentioned it before.
They did play well in the first leg and lost. So I had the fear a little bit, but I was confident enough. I thought Dortmund would be better, just because they're in great form, winning every week, scoring plenty of goals, and I expected more from them. I thought the handball for the penalty was harsh. And the retake's just a bit of a fiasco, really, isn't it?
I've no idea. Nobody knows what the rules are anymore. Yeah. I thought the handball was probably a handball. I couldn't really argue with that. But I don't understand the encroachment thing. Because the Chelsea player, if that was at NFL, that's offsetting penalties, isn't it? 2 blokes have done something wrong. Penalties offset, replay like third down or whatever, Just Chilwell was 2 yards ahead of the bloke who got caught for encroachment. But whoever was on co-commentator was saying, McManaman possibly, was saying that because he'd cleared the ball.
That's the reason why, because he got the ball. If he hadn't got the ball on the rebound, then they wouldn't have retook it, apparently. But because he got a head start. So
you're allowed to do what you want as long as you don't touch the ball?
Didn't touch the ball, aye.
What's the point in having the rule? Anyway, you might as well just let people stand anyway. It's a load of shite. Bayern 1, PSG 0. Tick next to my name here. This was one of my couple of winners. And it was really simple. Bayern I picked because they're the better team. And all night...
Bayern 2, PSG 0.
Did I miss another goal? Oh, hang on. No, I didn't. I saw this one because Kingsley Coleman rolled one in. No, was it?
No, it was Gnabry.
Oh, I did see it. Left foot. Yeah, the keeper. Donnarumma did a really weird dive. Oh, tell you what.
Jesus. If there's a goal after 80 minutes, Malcolm doesn't know about it.
It's one thing predicting the scores. I can't even get them right after the fucking games have happened, Baz. 2-0. Captain Seal was already typing the word buffoon in that chat box. I know he's. Bayern with a better team was my handicap, and all night long Bayern were the better team. PSG missed that one gilt-edged chance when the goalkeeper decided he wanted to try and Maradona his way through everyone, and it got cleared off the line. But after that, Bayern were just better. There's been a lot of fallout really about why PSG are like they are. Will Mbappe hang around? Messi and Ramos just there getting paid. Thierry Henry was talking about the fans have got a disconnect from the club because PSG was kind of a working man. Like Paris is a bit of a mad place in terms of a city. It's very working class. There's a lot of minorities there. And do you know when PSG was formed, Baz?
No, but I think you're going to tell me it's quite recent.
1972. There's no 150th anniversary going on. So, and that was their thing. That was their club. And all of a sudden, it's now not. There's an absolute huge disconnect between those Paris suburbs and what's going on at the minute. And they seem a bit sick of it. And the whole thing's just a bit of a shit show. Like, you took goals, didn't you? Some of your bets marked down as a loser now, but I don't trust anything I've written down. Over 3.5 was your bet.
Over 3.5. I just expected more from PSG. I did think they would come and make a fight of it at least, and they just didn't really. Once Bayern got ahead, you felt that was it. It was done and dusted. So yeah, not even close on that one. So started off for the loser there. Done a bit better on the next one.
Next up was Tottenham 0, AC Milan 0. I guessed, and I did say when I was making this pick that I was guessing at both teams to score. I thought Tottenham. I can't remember.
I said both teams to score. No. Everything lent towards the no on that side. I didn't take.
Yeah, you're right. I was mistakenly under the impression that Tottenham might try and score a goal, and they didn't. Tottenham have gone on the shit list, Baz. Straight on. They should have been on there weeks ago, Tottenham, but they're on.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna love when we get to the Spurs game later.
Fucking baffled me there. I mean, in 3 competitions since last Wednesday, Baz, they've got the Sheffield United reserves and lost 1-0 in the FA Cup. They've got the Wolves in the Premier League and lost 1-0. They've then got the Champions League and already 1-0 behind, managed to 0-0 to get beat 1-0. I mean, what is the point? What we trying to achieve here? Like, Bob was all Bob was obsessed with, we were watching this, was that Antonio Conte had the same haircut as Grandma. And he did that, baffled him. Like it seemed to really upset him as well. He was just shrugging his shoulders, looking at me. He's going, why has he got Nan's hair? I was like, well, anyway, I don't know what Conte is playing at. I don't know what any of them are playing at. So that was a waste of time.
Yeah, I took them at 2.5.
You did.
Week again. They're really, really. I mean, it just hits every week at the moment for Spurs. I said the unders hits every week, and the both teams to score no hits every week because they either don't score or they don't concede.
Well, we look forward to handicapping that in a bit then, Baz. Tonight, early on, Sporting Lisbon 2, Arsenal 2. I took Arsenal, missed. This one was caveated. I've got an excuse for everything this week, but it was the team news. We didn't know about the team news. And team was shit, so you can put a line through that. I'll have my money back, please. Bet365. I didn't know that. They made a few changes, which you knew they were going to do. Odegaard, I think, was a big miss. This was a game that Arsenal both led and trailed in and finished off 2-2. The keeper was dodgy. The American, Matt Turner, was a bit ropey. And you took the under 2.5 pass, so that was toast as well. It wasn't a bad game, actually. It looked quite good fun. Sporting, I didn't realise they've got quite a good record against English teams. They've won 7 out of 9 two-legged games. 7 out of the last 9 over 2 legs. So, yeah, Sporting quite like it.
Yeah,
a challenge.
I did see on this one, I think it was a good spot to fade Arsenal. We both said we didn't think Arsenal would be going hell for leather in this tournament with everything they've got going on in the Premier League. So yeah, in hindsight, I should have possibly looked at Sporting. I fancied Sporting to get something, but I did think it would be a tight affair. I thought it would be a 1-0, 1-1, 0-0, something like that. And the goals came fairly early, and the writing seemed to be on the wall for me quite early on.
And then live tonight, Manchester United against Real Betis, which I believe has just gone half-time. Is it still 1-1? Rashford scored early on for Man United, and Jose Perez, ex-Newcastle United, has slotted an equaliser. I used to love Perez, so that's almost as good as winning the Carabao Cup. There's Perez scoring against Man United. And that took both teams to score, Baz. So I've got a little tick there, saved my bacon a little bit. And my dog is Betis to score over 1.5 goals. If they get another one, I'm out the woods for the week. You've got Man United on the handicap, so in the next 45 minutes...
I'm not watching the game, but XG live in play, half-time, Man U at 1.6 to Betis' 0.4. So feeling a little bit unlucky here, but I am not watching the game. So, but I think, the Arsenal-Man U games, we sort of looked at them. We expected Arsenal would make a couple of changes, and we thought Man U would go strong, looking to bounce back. And Man U are pretty exact same lineup as they put out against Liverpool.
Yeah.
They have gone full strength, and as I said, I think Man U will have an eye on this as a tournament they can win. They'll be disappointed if they don't come away with a win against Betis today. Although Betis, did get a result, got a draw against Real Madrid at the weekend.
Yeah, they're playing well.
They'd won 3 in a row before that, so they're not in bad form. But Man U will be wanting to come away from this home leg with a lead. We'll see what happens in the second half.
Excellent. Serial has joined us in the chat. Good evening, sir. How you doing? We'll get on to the Premier League full slate. Let's get stuck right into this. I'll tell you first about WinBet, the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet active in a bunch of states. Tons of ways to win, including live betting and same-game parlays, a.k.a. WinBet's Build Your Own Bet. March Madness is almost here. Plenty of ways to win. Get down on the NBA, NHL, and XFL. Sign up today, receive a special offer, bet $100, get $100, limited to state availability. And of course, our DJs, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you'll get a $1,000 free credit. Loads to choose from. Head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know that we sent you. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. Offer subject to change. T's and C's at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you were someone who knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Right, okay. Premier League, let's go. We will start with Saturday lunchtime, the early game. Beware, rule number 1, never bet the early game. Bournemouth against Liverpool is a 12:30 UK time, 7:30 Eastern time kick-off. Bournemouth are 6-1 home puppies here. The draw is 7-2, and Liverpool are 11-25. Minus 227. If you remember the reverse fixture here, Liverpool managed to just touch off Bournemouth 9-0 in a game that got Scott Parker, who's back, his second appearance. He's been sacked twice on 18 minutes in the show, Baz. He got the sack from Bournemouth after Liverpool hooked them 9-0. Bournemouth are coming off that heartbreaker last week against Arsenal, man. Got 2-0 up at the Emirates. Were pegged back and eventually chinned in the 97th minute. And they were actually doing a little bit better before that. They've scored in 5 of the last 6 games. And a little bit of January business that they did, particularly Utara out on the wing, just seems to have livened them up a little bit. I don't think it's enough to save them. But it has, it's livened them up a little bit. Liverpool have been much more like their old selves. They've kept 5 clean sheets in a row, and then obviously the highlight was the 7-0 thrashing of Man United last week. Liverpool were probably second best in that game for 42 minutes. That's kind of the weird thing. And then won 7-0. What they have got is they've got healthier. Van Dijk's back. Alexander-Arnold looks a bit more like his old self. And then they've got 4 fit top-class forwards. The 3 who did the business last week in Gakpo, Salomon Núñez, and Diego Jota's mooching around as well. So I think Bournemouth could score here. They've been scoring. And Liverpool still a bit ropey at the back. That 7-0 hasn't got them out the woods. Let's not forget how vulnerable they've been before that. I think Bournemouth could score a goal. Even if they do, I think Liverpool can get 3 here. Liverpool is just firing. I mean, what a team like Newcastle would give for one of those 3 up front, let alone all 3 of them, or 4 if you want to stick Jota in there as well. So I'm going to start with Liverpool on the handicap. The early kickoff unsettles me in terms of goals, but I've got no other course of action here. Liverpool minus 1.5 goals on the Asian handicap. It's plus money, Baz, 15-13, plus 115 for Liverpool to cover minus 1.5. I think it's got the 3-1 Liverpool would be my pick here.
Well, there's not much more for me to say, Malcolm. I think you've covered it. I mean, Bournemouth did get off their first win in what felt like forever, didn't they? A few weeks ago against Wolves when I tipped them up as my underdog. They've had a pretty shitty run of games since, though, didn't they? City, Arsenal, and now Liverpool. They were well beaten at home to Man City, and as you say, unlucky against Arsenal. But same as you said, Liverpool now find themselves on a run of 5 clean sheets. I said it the last couple of weeks, 4 of those 5 clean sheets have come against teams who are really struggling for goals. But obviously you can't take anything away from them from last week's result against a banging form Man United side. And I've gone down the same route as you. 4 wins in the last 5 games in the league. 5 clean sheets in that time. All 4 of those wins came by 2 or more. Scored 13 goals in the last 5 games. And I've just said, we've got a team who are buoyed by a massive win last week against Man United, coming up against a team coming into it off a demoralising last-minute defeat to Arsenal. And I just think Liverpool in the handicap at plus money is too good a price. I expected it to be a bit shorter, but I've gone exactly the same way. Liverpool to win by 2 or more. I had it down as 11-10 plus 110, but I'll shop around because you're getting plus 115. So Liverpool to win by 2 or more for me also. Team ride.
Extra 5 points there, Baz. Yeah, team ride. The early team ride on the lunchtime kickoff. What could possibly go wrong, Baz? We'll move on to the 3 o'clocks, and we will start at Goodison Park, where Everton take on Brentford. The prices are, it's a match, Baz. 17-10 each of 2. Everton 17-10 plus 170. Brentford 17-10 plus 170. And the draw is at 9-4 plus 225. Bookies can't split them, Baz, can you?
Yes. Easy.
Do it.
Everton, I just think Everton are still a bit hard to work out at the moment, aren't they? They've won 2 of their 3 home games since Dyche joined. They beat Leeds, they beat Arsenal. But they have also had a home defeat against Villa in the most recent one. 2 against Forest last week. That cracked a run where there was both teams to score no, had hit 6 in a row before that. And again, they've leaned towards the overs. Last couple of games have been over 2.5. Prior to that, it was 5 to the under. So a little bit of a turnaround there in terms of the unders and the both teams to score now going the opposite way. But I say that they're hard to work out. I don't think Dyche has got them doing what he wants from them yet. You mentioned last week there still seems he seems very annoyed on the touchline, doesn't he? That they're not really doing what he wants them to do. And you look at Brentford. I mean, Brentford are on an astonishing run. 12 unbeaten now in the league. 6 wins, 6 draws. Only one of those draws was a 0-0. So they're getting on the score sheet all of the time. 11 of the last 12, Brentford are scoring goals. So I think Brentford will score here. It's then what do I think Everton can do? And I'm still just not filled with any confidence with this Everton side. I don't think they're very good. So I'm going to take Brentford side, who are efficient, hard to beat. They don't fear anyone. They're not going to be intimidated by the atmosphere at Goodison. And I think they're a very good price at 17-10. In the form they're in at the moment, I'll take Brentford to win. 17-10 plus 170. That's the bet for me.
Okay, Baz goes on the road with Brentford. Yeah, I mean, Everton no winning 3 and question marks for me over the win they did get against Leeds, the time when Leeds couldn't win with a dodgy goal. Both teams to score, no, 6 of the last 7. They are 16th in the home table. The form's poor. And say Brentford are going really well. Brentford is 2nd in the form table over the last 8 games with 18 points. The last away game was a 1-1 draw at Arsenal, which was a good result. It's 2 out of 2 on the team right, Baz. I'll take Brentford 17-10 plus 170. I mean, they're a considerably a better team. I'd take that. I think that's a good pick every day of the week.
Man United 2, Betis 1. Anthony, he's fucking sick. He can't.
Your mate. Oh, man. You need another one, Baz. Let's get
loads of time.
Yeah, well, you need one, but I need one as well. That's not going to help you.
That's not.
Where are we going? Leeds versus Brighton, 3 p.m, 10 a.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Leeds are 11-4 plus 275 at home. The draw is 13-5 plus 260. Brighton are 18-19 minus 105. Leeds lost to Chelsea narrowly last week. I don't actually think they played great. They made a couple of scrappy half chances near the end. And they are going to need some home wins. They need to put up some home form together to get out of the relegation places. They beat Southampton 1-0 in their last home game. In fact, there's been 3 1-0s in a row and a 2-0 before that. So little patterns emerging on Leeds. Brighton got back to who we thought they were last week, full of goals when they humped West Ham 4-0. 5th in the away league table, 4th in the form table coming into this. So I was trying to find an angle to get into Leeds a bit, Baz, because, I've been kind of thinking or repeatedly stating I think they can get out of it. I like the way they play. But I can't, Baz. I can't find an angle to take Leeds. So I'm not thrilled with the price, odds on. I'd maybe want a little bit bigger, but nothing I can do about that. I'm going to take Brighton on the road, on the money line. I just think they're flying. Very, very similar to this game we've just handicapped, Everton-Brentford. You can make the same case for both home teams, Leeds and Everton. You can make a very similar case for both away teams, Brighton and Brentford. Brighton aren't the price of Brentford, and that's the only thing I'm not thrilled about. But yeah, I'm going to take Brighton for the win, minus 105, 18-19. But
Christ.
Oh, no, we're good again, are we?
Well, no, because I'm between 2 bets, so that makes it easy for me. I'm going to oppose, well, not oppose you, but I'm going to go the other route. But very much the same handicap here. Leeds with just 1 win in 12, and they failed to score in 6 of those 12 games. Really struggling in front of goal. New manager hasn't changed any of that. They've only scored 1 goal in the 4 games since he came in. But more importantly, Brighton is they're scoring loads of goals. They clicked the game last week, as you said, 4-0 over West Ham. There's only 4 teams that scored more than Brighton this season: Arsenal, Man City, Spurs, and Liverpool. Liverpool, obviously, only by virtue of those 7 that scored last week. Otherwise, Brighton would have been sort of 4th in the scoring league this year. So you've mentioned that they're high up in the form table, but in terms of goals over the season, really, really good. Outscored Man United this season, and everyone's saying what a great year Man U are having now. Brighton must be delighted Potter moved to Chelsea now, mustn't they? Because I think De Zerbi's getting them playing better football. They're better to watch. Right in the hunt for European places. And meanwhile, they're looking down the road watching Potter struggle and probably get fired within the next few weeks. So yeah, I thought Brighton had a good price here at around evens. But I thought having backed the low scoring affair last week and being completely wrong, I'm going to go with the goals. So I'm going with Brighton to score 2 or more here.
Okay, yeah, I like that bet.
It's 10-11, and I think about it now. I think why not just back Brighton at the same price? Because realistically, all I'm getting here is the possibility of a 2-2, and I don't see Leeds scoring 2. But I'll take that. Brighton to score 2 or more is the pick. 10-11, just a shade of odds on. I mean, although Leeds games have been low scoring lately, and they aren't letting loads of goals in the most recent form, their home form, they've conceded 2 or more in 7 of the last 9, I think. The other 2, they had clean sheets against Brentford and Southampton. So there's plenty of form at home of Leeds letting in at least a couple of goals, and I think Brighton can get 2 here.
Okay, Brighton team total then for Baz. The good captain signed off on the Brentford team right as well in the chat. Happy with that. Next up, we main at 3 o'clock is Leicester against Chelsea. Leicester 11-4 plus 275. The draw 5-2, and Chelsea are 18-19 minus 105. But Chelsea, what you doing? In fact, Leicester and Chelsea, 2 teams that we've both struggled with recently.
Yeah, I mean, we thought for a little while Leicester had turned things around, didn't we? Any hopes of a turnaround for Leicester is well and truly dead now. So they beat Villa and Spurs, scored 8 goals, and we thought, oh, they might be on their way back here. Maddison's back fit. They went on to lose the next 3 in the league without scoring a goal, and they lost to Blackburn in the cup as well, which I famously tipped up at 7-1, as you remember. Chelsea, I mean, as I said, they've got a morale-boosting win in the Champions League, which just feeds right into what you've been saying about them, how they can win when they want and when it suits them, but equally can just decide not to turn up. They did get their first win in 6 league games last week, but it wasn't an inspiring performance against Leeds, and it doesn't inspire me to go back in them. Man United have gone 3-1 up there. Bruno Fernandes. Live in-play updates. The handicap is back on. Chelsea games have now hit the unders 8 in a row. The unders at 10-11 was one that does appeal. But I've decided to go for both teams to score no instead. It's 19-20. It's hit 7 of the last 8 games for Chelsea. It's hit 3 in a row in Leicester games. Chelsea are good at the back. I do think one thing they do well is defend. They're not scoring often enough. And I find it hard to know where this game goes. In terms of the money line, I think it's impossible. But I can't see it being full of goals. And both of these teams are very capable of blanking on any given day. So both teams to score no, 19-20. That's the pick for me.
Okay. The first thing I wrote here, Baz, was just impossible. I mean, I thought we had a handle on Leicester, like you said, and then they blanked against Arsenal and lost at Southampton. But I thought they played all right in that first half an hour. But then again, Southampton are shite, so you'd expect them to be the better team. The Leicester fans aren't happy either, and I think often that's quite a good barometer. They're questioning whether they're going to drag themselves out of it. They are 19th in the home table, 12 points from 12 games. So Chelsea beat Leeds for their first win in 6, but then look like world beaters against Dortmund. So I know you've been more in than me on Chelsea, Baz, but I'm hoping that win's going to put them right, possibly. And I'm going to take Chelsea to follow up here. I feel like I'm a bit chalky, looking at these first few picks. I mean, I've got Brentford at plus money, I suppose. I've got a dog later on, but yeah, I feel a bit dull and boring at the minute. I'm going to take Chelsea on the money line, 18-19 minus 105. The final 3:00 game on Saturday is Tottenham Hotspur against Nottingham Forest. Tottenham are 2-5, minus 250. The draw is 15-4 plus 375. Nottingham Forest are 13-2 plus 650. First 4 words on my notepad here say Tottenham can fuck off. I mean, the weird thing is, like, you pull the stats up on screen and you go to handicap it, and there's loads of pointers for them here getting a good result. But I can't pick them on principle. The last 3 home games in the league, they've all 1-0. They're 5th in the home table. Forest are bottom of the away league table. Forest lost 4-0 at West Ham in the last away game. Everything wants you to take Tottenham and then take them comfortably in some kind of win-0 Asian handicap, some sort of thing. But like we just said 20 minutes ago, we've just watched them lose at Sheffield United reserve without scoring, without trying to score, lost at Wolves, and then what they were doing the other night, it's like they didn't even join in. Like, they didn't join in that game. They were an absolute shambles. Nancy just setting them up to get beat 1-0. I didn't understand it. So I can't back Tottenham. What I've done here, Baz, is, because I've also just outlined why Forest are unlikely to do anything here, is I've faded both teams. So the bet, and it actually comes in at even money, plus 100, is the under 2.5 goals. So yeah, I'm fading both teams. And that means we'll get the under 2.5. Tottenham probably will sneak this 1 or 2-0, is what's going to happen. Yeah, Kane will get a penalty, or Son will bend in a 28-yarder or something, and they'll nick it. But the under 2.5 goals is the pick. And I was delighted. No juice. The over is juiced, so I'll take the under, Baz.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, I've been backing the unders or the both teams to score no in Spurs games for a few weeks now, with plenty of success. I get you saying you're not backing Spurs out of principle, but I just say fuck your principles. I just fucking pick what I think's going to win, and I do think Spurs can get a result here. I mean, they continue to puzzle me. Like, they just, I mean, something isn't right, is it? That they don't seem to be playing for Conte. I mean, although he hasn't been there for several weeks. The fans aren't happy. Loads of them are already wanting Conte out now. I think everybody knows Conte is going to be gone at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He's not going to stay. And I think I was listening to a lot of fans last night saying, just get rid of him now. If you can get Pochettino back in. It seems a big push for Pochettino. I'm not sure how good an idea that is. Like, managers coming back. Not for me, that. Did you see Richarlison threw Conte under the bus last night as well? Did you see?
No, he didn't. What did he say?
Just something like, we're playing really shit at the moment. Literally, something like that. We're playing really shit. It's
you paraphrasing, Baz.
No, I mean, the word shit was definitely used. There was definitely swearing in there. And he just said something like, I came here to play and I don't play and I'm a bit sick of it, or something like that. It was... he wasn't a happy man, and I don't suppose Conte will be happy with what he said.
It is a bit baffling, that, because, for example, Lucas Moura has had 2 appearances this week. And, I mean, they shipped him off somewhere and he had to come back because they never sent the fax through in time or something, didn't they, in the transfer window? So they're quite happy to ship him out the club. And then he's getting a game in front of Richarlison, who they paid 60 million quid for. Like, riddle me that, Baz. It's baffling.
Yeah, it says, I'm a professional. I work every day and I want to play. I'm missing minutes, missing time. This season is shit. I was on a good run and suddenly he puts me on the bench. I just think, what's that going to achieve? You're going to be on the bench again on Sunday or Saturday, aren't you? I mean, it's 4 clean sheets in a row at home now for Spurs, and they're coming up against the Forest side, who have only scored 3 goals on the road. And that's where I have to lean towards Spurs, because I can't see Forest doing anything. They've done nothing away from home all season. And as I say, Spurs have been tight at home. I did point out 6 unders in a row for Spurs games. So no problem at all with your choice. I did look again at the both teams to score no, which landed for me last week because Wolves won 1-0. So even where you might think Spurs will win it, they can have that stinking performance like they did at Wolves, and you can still win without both teams to score no bet. But it was a bit short, 7-10. So as I say, I just can't back Forest on the road, and I hate backing Spurs at the moment, but I'm going to. They won the last 2 games 2-0. Last 2 home games, I should say, 2-0. I think this could be something similar. We'll have a 2-0 win. You can hit your unders, and I'll hit my Spurs handicap. Spurs to win by 2 or more, 11-10. I don't like it, but I'm going to cash it. It's going to win.
That, Baz, is absolute savage amusement taking that, like.
I know. I knew as soon as I wrote this pick down, you would say exactly that, and I fully understand it. But I just couldn't say anywhere else to go. I don't mind your unders pick at all, to be honest. I think the only thing that probably put me off that is the way Forest crumbled against West Ham the other week and lost 4-0. I still had that in my mind because I took the unders in that game, and 70 minutes in, we're sitting at 0-0, and then in the blink of an eye, I got battered. So yeah, I don't like it. But Tottenham in the handicap, 11-10 plus 110. Off we go.
That, Baz, is a journey past the mouth of the dragons that I don't want to take. Underdog Fantasy, however, is one of our favourite sponsors here on the SGPN. It is your home for off-season NFL best ball drafts, but they've also got you covered for a ton of other daily games, including NBA, NHL, and PGA. Underdog Fantasy is a great way to get down on your favourite player props if they're not available in your state. Head over to underdogfantasy.com and use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Have you noticed that It's Awesome's been dropped from the Adrian's Bars? I was just getting into that. I was getting the hang. That was one of our favourite bits of the week, and they've got shot of it. What a swizz. Right, so tea time. Everyone's favourite game is the Saturday tea time game now. Everyone loves a bit of cucumber sandwiches with a scone, and we will watch Crystal Palace take on Manchester City while we have our tea, which is a 5:30 UK time, 12:30 Eastern time kickoff. Manchester City are heavy favourites on the road, 9-25, minus 277. Crystal Palace, big home dogs at 8-1, and the draw is at 15-4, plus 375. Baz, Palace against City.
Yeah, Palace. I just can't get on with Palace at the minute. 10 without a win now for them in all competitions. Really, really struggling. 7 of those 10 went under 2.5, and I think Palace have scored just 4 goals in the last 9 league games now. Man City, as we know, are struggling defensively. They did get a clean sheet last week against Newcastle. It was the first in a while in the league. And City away from home is a bit of a mixed bag, really. They're unbeaten in the last 5, but prior to that, they did lose 3 in a row on the road. Spurs, Man United, and Southampton was a cup game. They lost. But it's the same old thing with City, isn't it? It's hard to oppose them, certainly with Palace, who can't win. And what I found with City on the road, it's either bad in terms of they don't win, or if they do win, it's pretty easy. And I think 8 of the last 10 wins on the road have been by 2 or more. And I think it's a decent enough price this week. Against Palace, it's even money for Man City on the handicap. So again, it's a little bit boring and it's a little bit samey, and probably where I go most weeks for Man City.
Yeah.
It's a handicap for me. I couldn't find another angle of where to go. So yeah, Man City on the handicap, win by 2 or more. It's a price of evens, plus 100. That's the one for me.
You can give yourself plus 105 on that, Baz, because that's the price I've got written down. And I've got it written down because I've got exactly the same pick. Palace either score none or 1. They score maximum of 1, and not very often. And City have humped everyone. They've covered the handicap in all the recent games, apart from that one all over Forest, and they absolutely battered them hard and missed sitter after sitter after sitter. So absolutely everything points to this. It is a good price. Say plus money again. Boring, but you've got to skin this cat one way or another. So yeah, Manchester City on the Asian handicap for me, Baz, exactly the same. But the price is 20-19 plus 105. Bless you, Baz. Next up, we had a Sunday. Sunday is busy. 4 games on Sunday because of the Europa League and the Europa Conference shenanigans. The first Sunday game is a 2 o'clock kickoff, which is a 9 a.m. Eastern time start between Fulham and Arsenal. Fulham are 5-1 at home, big price. The draw is 3-1, and Arsenal are 3-5, minus 166. Fulham still going okay, although they've had a couple of disappointing results against Brentford and Wolves. That 3-2 on Monday night that we talked about was their first over in 7 games. Arsenal's comeback last week against Brentford made it 4 in a row since they had that little mini wobble where they lost to Everton, drew with Brentford, and then lost at Manchester City, and they've come back and won 4 on the spin. So yeah, hats off to them. Really hard game to handicap this. Because Fulham are quite tempting at home. They often make a game of things at home. I think they can give them a game here. This to me, Baz, I'll have to look for a comparison to recent games that we've seen. And this looked very, very similar, Baz, to Aston Villa Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, where Villa got away and won 4-2, but it was wide open. I think Villa got ahead twice in that game. So my pick, Baz, I was saying I was a little bit chalky earlier on, so I'll go slightly more extravagant. Now I'm going to take over 3.5 goals. It's a tea-time game as well. You tend to get this a bit more action, then everyone's woken up later in the day. Over 3.5 goals, Baz, at 2-1. Either Arsenal can win this 3-1, or Fulham might just nick a 2-2 if they go mad at home. So yeah, let's get some goals, Baz.
Yeah, any of that will do for me. Fulham have been on a 7-game unbeaten run before they lost to Brentford the other day. And they've been, as I said earlier, they've been in good form in terms of scoring in each of the last 6 games. Arsenal, as you say, have won the last 4. They've scored 12 in the process. But I do think they came up against a bit of a favourable run of fixtures, which has helped them. Villa, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester, nice little run of games. And out of those 4, it was only Everton that was a walk in the park for them. I still feel like they are showing some vulnerabilities and making hard work of a few of these games. You know, they won by 1 at Leicester. Villa, it was all tied going into the 90th minute, and similar in the Bournemouth game, come back from 2 down. So I think there are some vulnerabilities there. And we faded Arsenal last time they dropped points, didn't we? Both tipped the draw at Brentford.
Yeah, we did. Nice.
And I think you can make an argument for fading them again here, but the price wasn't. I don't know. I didn't because I'm worried about the luck they seem to have at the moment. I know it's not all luck. You make your own luck. I'm not making any accusations that they're getting the rub of the green or anything. But while I think Fulham can get something, I'm not brave enough to back them to win. But I'll take the both teams to score at 4-5. I think Fulham will get on the score sheet. Arsenal are conceding often enough for me, and Fulham are scoring. They're a good side, and at home I think they'll give Arsenal a game. I wouldn't be surprised if they can come away with a draw here. Both teams to score 4-5. What's that? Minus 125. That's a bun. Yeah.
Yeah. This was when you look down. If I asked you just look down this list and pick a dog, that's kind of one of the ones you'd be drawn to immediately, and at that price as well. I said earlier on that I'd pick Brighton, but I'd want a little bit of a bigger price. I think this Fulham price is excellent. Like I would maybe have this a little bit shorter, kind of 92, that kind of range.
As I say, I think there's been enough in the Arsenal performances lately to show that someone will take points off them soon. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Fulham do get something from the game.
Another 2:00 kickoff is Manchester United against Southampton. Manchester United are 9-25, minus 277. Draw at 4-1. Southampton at 8-1. Man United currently in action, leading 3-1 against Real Betis. Obviously, the big talking point this week is they got smashed, and how we laughed last week. They lost 7-0. Ten Hag's got out and picked the same team tonight, which was probably a nice touch, I think. I think when we handicapped this on Sunday night, Baz, we said he'd definitely make changes. We're expecting to see Harry Maguire and players like that, Garnacho. And he said, no, I'll tell you what, you go out and fix it, which I've got a lot of time for. So, yeah, they'll have wanted to come out and probably keep a clean sheet tonight, and they never managed that. Interesting to see how they respond. And let's be honest, they couldn't have got a nicer fixture to do it in than Southampton at home. Saying that, Southampton have won 2 of their last 3 games, remarkably. They got that win against Leicester last week and the win at Chelsea. Thursday teams get tired. We mentioned this a lot. It's historically a thing. I don't know why it's a thing. If I do something on a Thursday, it doesn't mean I'm tired on a Sunday, Baz. I can just crack on like it's not a problem. But for some reason, like Wednesday, Saturday is not a problem. Everyone's fine with that. Thursday, Sunday, impossible. Can't do it. Manchester United will win this game, but they'll do it with a little bit up their sleeve. They're going to win 1 or 2-0 is what's going to happen. I don't think Southampton are going to compete or score. And a bit similar to the Tottenham Forest game. The price for this is, again, it's plus money. It's well over evens. 13-10 plus 130 is the price for the under 2.5 goals. Manchester United will score 1 in each half, probably a penalty in there, and they'll win 2-0. So give me the under 2.5 at plus 130, Pat.
Well, you caught me off guard with that one. I wasn't expecting that. You actually stole that one off me because that was my turn to go first there.
Oh, was it? Did I do Fulham? No.
I mean, to be fair, it's all right because I didn't really write much down here.
What are you whinging for then?
I'm looking at the under 2.5. It's hit about twice in the last 15 at Old Trafford. I don't like it. I've wrote down here basically. I don't have much to say on it. Man United's home form just leads me down one route here. They're unbeaten in 20 at home. They've won 18 of 20. They had a draw against Newcastle early in the season and a draw more recently against Leeds. And of those 18 wins, they've won 13 of them by 2 goals or more. Southampton aren't getting hammered off anyone at the moment, so that leads into your bet a little. But when Southampton have played away against sort of top 6 sides this year, they lost 3-0 to Spurs, 3-1 to Liverpool, 4-0 to Man City in the games where they've come up against good sides on the road. And that's good enough for me to take a Man U handicap, 10-11, minus 1.5. So Man United to win by 2 or more. Seems like I've picked this in several games tonight. But it's good enough for me at home. As I say, they've covered that more than often enough this season. And they're close to even money. Man U to win by 2 or more for me, 10-11.
Okay, you stick to your convictions, Baz, if they're your picks. 2 o'clock again, three simultaneous 2 o'clocks on Sunday. West Ham versus Aston Villa. West Ham 6-5 plus 120. The draw 23-10 plus 230. Aston Villa 12-5 plus 240. I'll let you go first here, Baz. Now West Ham, I'll just add, we're playing in the Europa Conference away in Larnaca. I'd give you the final score, but I've got a bit of previous for not being right now. They were 2-0 up, Baz. What happened? What was the score? Was it 4-3 or something? Because I've got written down.
You put me on the spot because the Europa Conference League doesn't hit my radar. It's too low, but they did win 2-0.
Oh, there you go. I was right. Okay, so West Ham won 2-0 in Larnaca. Had probably a nice bit of seafood out there as well. West Ham versus Villa, Baz.
Yeah. Thursday, Sunday, Malcolm. You can't win on a Sunday. They'll be tired.
You can't, mate.
More tired than Man United because Man United just played at Old Trafford, whereas West Ham have had to go all the way to Larnaca. West Ham back-to-back 4-0s. Beaten by Brighton 4-0, and then they're also beaten Forest 4-0. So a bit of a mixture. The Forest win is the only 1-6 in all competitions. West Ham are right in the relegation mix. Only 1 point above the bottom three at the moment, right in the relegation fight. Villa, on the other hand, would probably be considered to be the first of the safe teams. If you look at Villa sitting in 11th on 34 points, there's then a 7-point gap down to 12th place. It's really, really split in two now, the table. So Villa will consider themselves pretty much safe, getting some good results. They've won their last 2 in a row. That followed a 3-game losing streak, but I mentioned last week they came up against Man City, Arsenal and Leicester, so top 2 in amongst that 3-game losing streak. In their away form's actually quite good. They've won 4 of the last 5 in the league, and only Man City beat them in that 5-game streak away from home. So I think I can trust Villa here. Away to West Ham, team's struggling with a fan base who are getting a bit fed up. They're all a bit sick of Moyes now. And I just think Villa are a better team. They haven't played on a Thursday. West Ham have. They'll be a bit fresher. And I think they're great value. 12-5. So what's that? Plus 240.
It is Villa, plus 240.
I'm all over that. I think that's a great pick. We'll find out whether it's great on Sunday. But yeah, Villa to win. Villa to beat West Ham at 12-5 is the play for me on the money line.
Yeah, I totally agree, Baz. The natives down at the Brexit Bowl are indeed getting very restless. And this is the obvious underdog play on the card. I say your eyes were slightly drawn to us, to Fulham possibly, but this jumps off the page. Absolutely jumps off the page. West Ham suck. The 2 wins came against Forest, who are 20th in the form table on the road, and Everton, which was the game that got Fat Frank sacked. So that was the end of that. Villa dipped in form in that tough run of fixtures. Well, either side of that, they beat Leeds, Southampton, Everton and Palace. And now we're talking about comps, Baz. Is there a greater comp to Leeds, Southampton, Everton and Palace than West Ham? I mean, they're all in that club. That's the form line that wins this game. Team right, Baz, easy. Aston Villa 12-5 plus 240.
Real's in the chat there. He likes to draw no bet plus 135. I looked at that, don't mind it at all. Thought I'd be a little bit more ambitious. I like to have 1 or 2 which are just a little bit more ambitious, but draw no bet if you want to play it safe at 135. I think is a great looking price as well.
That's a little bit off the ladies menu there, Serial, for me and Baz. Me and Baz put our big boy pants on for this game. 4:30 kickoff on Sunday, the final game. 11:30 Eastern Time is a game I will be at. Newcastle United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Newcastle 11-17, minus 153. The draw is 11-4, plus 275. And Wolves are 9-2, plus 150. Now Newcastle might win, but there is no chance you'd be betting them at this price at all. At odds on, they haven't won in 5. They've scored 3 goals in the last 8 games, league games. You can stick the Wembley disappointment onto that as well if you want. So yeah, no way you can factor Newcastle into this. Now I liked Wolves recently. I've liked them a lot more than you. They're one of the teams we've been on other sides on the fence of. They made me money. They've won 4 in the last. Man United. 4-1. Oh, Baz has done it. Baz has cocked. No, Weghorst. God.
Even Weghorst scored.
Court horse is notched. Yeah, they've beaten Liverpool, they've beaten Tottenham, and they've beaten. What does that say? I've written something down. Who else did they beat, Baz? I can't read.
This is your handicap now.
It's my right. It starts with a B. They're beating a good team. They beat Liverpool, Tottenham, and someone else.
They beat Brighton recently, didn't they? Didn't they go beat Brighton 1-0?
That's possible. Both teams are under 2.5 machines at the moment. That makes the price way too short. And, Baz, I'm going to fly in the face of all that. Somebody's going to win this game 2-1. Now, I'm not saying who it's going to be, because I don't know. But somebody is. The over 2.5 goals is 11-10. Man, Newcastle have got to do something. We're struggling to keep clean sheets. Yeah, that's kind of gone away. And we do keep saying we've underperformed our XG repeatedly, made chances against Man City last week, 3 good ones. Again, maybe a couple of changes, expecting Gordon. Are we going to see Isaac? Something's going to go down this weekend, and the over 2.5 goals is going to be a bit livelier than the usual Newcastle side. And Wolves have been joining in a little bit more than they were before they got Lopetegui in charge. Over 2.5 goals, 11-10 plus 110, Baz.
That's fine, and I can help everybody out who's listening by telling them which way the 2-1 is going to be as well.
Yay! Up the Wolves.
I mean, I've got, as you say, I've not been that high on Wolves really. I'm still not that sold on them. It's hard to know what to expect here. There's only so long Newcastle fans can keep saying, well, we've played well, we just haven't taken our chances in it. The simple fact is, at some point, we need to turn that around. And I think this is a massive game for Newcastle in our season. I think if you fail to win here, the mood's going to start to change a bit. I think there's been a bit of acceptance that we've been on a tough run. But I think if we don't win here, things could unravel for the remainder of the season, and it might just drift away and turn into a bit of a disappointing finish. But a win, and I think we'll look back to be in the race for the top 4, be a big morale booster with a decent run of games coming up. It is 3 defeats in a row and no win in 5 league games. And as you say, we've scored just 3 in those last 5. On the plus side, I mean, let's not forget, we've only lost once at home all season. But draws are no good. We've had far too many of those. We have to start winning now. And I've said, I mean, the last 8 in the league have all been under 2.5. So all the trends on Newcastle tell you not many goals. But like you, I have a feeling it could go the other way. Wolves away from home have won just twice all season. They came up against Everton when Everton were at their absolute worst. Lampard got sacked 1 game after that. And they beat Southampton on the road at the worst possible time for Southampton. And Nick Jones got sacked after that. So both of the wins on the road have come against teams who were rock bottom, just about to sack their managers. I'm not sold on their form at all. I mean, Newcastle's form looks terrible. Let's not forget, though, the last 3 they've played Man United, Man City, Liverpool. So I think Newcastle can get goals here. Wolves haven't kept a clean sheet away from home in 12 games now. So I'm going to take Newcastle to get back in the goals. Team goals, that is, for me. It's 5-6 for Newcastle to score 2 or more. It's a big stretch given the current form. But I've just got a bit of a feeling that it could be a bit of a turning point, this fixture for Newcastle. Could be wrong. Wolves don't bother me much on the road. They're conceding all the time, so I'll take my chances.
So saying that then, Baz. Okay. I was going to say, because you often pull me and say, why didn't you just take that? But no interest in the over 2.5 at 11-10 then. If you take,
no, because Newcastle always Newcastle take a clean sheet.
Yeah, win 2-0. Yeah, go on, I'll give you that.
At the moment, but we've conceded goals against Man United, Man City, Liverpool. before that, our record of clean sheets was still. I mean, I know West Ham and Bournemouth both scored, didn't it? Went a little bit before that. But I just think I wouldn't back against Newcastle getting a clean sheet in the game. And it might be a little bit getting ahead of myself backing them to score 2 goals. I've just got to feel it. I think it could be a bit of a turning point. I think it needs to be a bit of a turning point. Otherwise, I think the season starts to drift away from us this year.
Another way of attacking this game that Serial's just stuck in the messages there, absolutely spot on. And we don't often do this, Baz, but certainly when Ty came on doing the World Cup gambling podcast, Americans will sort of use this tactic a lot, is Newcastle and under 3.5 goals. So that shifts the price on Newcastle from -153. That bet's even money. So if you don't see this being a 3-1, if you tag on what looks like quite a high ceiling in terms of goals, then Newcastle for that 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-0. You've got loads of different options for Newcastle to get the job done. So I like that serial a lot. Okay, Baz, let's wrap this up. We've just clocked the hour. Dogs, accumulators, and goal scorers. My dog is your dog, is it? Aston Villa, 12-5 plus 240, Baz?
Certainly is, yeah. There's nowhere else for me.
Team right on the dogs then. My goal scorer, you know who my goal scorer is, don't you?
Darwin Núñez.
Is the right answer. Predictable, might as well have just released last week's show, but saved ourselves an hour here. Darwin Núñez, plus 140 anytime, 9-2 first goal scorer if you're feeling a bit more exotic.
And I've went the same game, but a little bigger price.
A little bigger price.
Plus 175. Gakpo, Cody Gakpo.
Hey, okay.
7-4 Gakpo is the shot for me for an anytime score. I didn't look at his first scorer price. I'll be playing him to score anytime.
And my parlay, Liverpool, Asian handicap. Manchester City, Asian handicap, both -1.5. And I like sticking the last game of the weekend in, Baz, to build up the excitement. So we're dragging this out from game number 1 on Saturday lunchtime to game number 4 on Sunday tea time. Newcastle Wolves over 2.5 goals. So that pays plus 814. So a shade Manchester City -1.5.
Yeah.
So Liverpool and Man City both on to cover the handicap. And then we'll stick in Newcastle Wolves overs. Pays a little bit over 7-1.
Yeah, I had a bit of a blip with mine. I put 3 money line picks in, and I thought, oh, that's a nice price. It's about 6.5 to 1. That really, really tidy price. And then when I looked at my bet slip, I realised I still had Newcastle over 1.5 in the middle of it, which is double the odds of what I was looking at. So I've had to change this on the fly tonight. I've gone for money line picks for Liverpool at 4-9. Brighton just a shade under evens, and Newcastle over 1.5 team goals. Comes out at just over 4-1, maybe close to 9-2. About 4 plus 420, I think it is.
Okay.
So Brighton and Liverpool on the money line. Newcastle to score 2 or more team goals in that game.
Nice one, Baz. I feel confident that we've managed to thumb out a few winners there, Bazza. I think that's got us to the end of all the handicapping. Is there anything you need to tell the people about before we crack on?
No, I think that's it from me.
That's it. We haven't left. We've left no time for lifestyle. We've got no cake chat. The Battenberg chat made an appearance, Baz, in the MLB show the other day.
Right. Yeah.
And it's made an appearance in the Discord channel as well. So you waving around a bit of cakes.
That was quite funny the next day in the Discord channel. Everyone was getting involved and talking Battenberg, weren't they? So it wasn't just Captain Insano who was there to see it live. Everybody else picked up the podcast the next day and had a. I can guarantee they all Googled the Battenberg to see what it was all about, didn't they?
Right, just before we go then, Baz, on the cake situation, I've got a lump of cake in the van, a big one, which I ate like a house brick, like not all at once, but I ate it like an apple, but it's like a kilo of cake. I ate it in installments. What type of cake have I got?
Oh, no. It'll be a lemon drizzle cake. It's not nutty because you can't eat nuts.
It's not nutty, no. It's a Jamaican ginger cake, Baz.
Oh.
Absolute classic. Now, normally I would have that with as much butter as cake, like the same amount, like an inch of cake and an inch of butter. But obviously, I'm not an animal. I'm not slathering butter on my cake while I'm driving the van, which is why I ate it like an apple, like Homer Simpson. Like that. So yeah, that's half.
Zeno was asking me how the cake was, and I can say
he doesn't like the cake.
I don't like cake. I don't, despite the fact I look like I eat lots of cake. I'm not a big fan. I haven't got much of a sweet tooth. Don't eat much chocolate. Don't eat much cake. Desserts.
Can't barbecue a cake. Or can you barbecue a cake?
You can. Well, you can. I'll have baked the cake on a barbecue. Like anything that can go in your oven can go in my barbecue.
True story.
Yeah, that was for the kids. The Battenberg. They'll have enjoyed that.
Right, well, that's I've enjoyed the cake chat. That was my favourite bit. Right, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Remember to get involved on YouTube when you get a chance next week. We'll schedule the shows as well. I scheduled tonight's bars after you told me off last week, like a professional. Did you like me little banners that were popping up along the bottom or not?
I didn't see them because I had my Word document over the top of it.
Unbelievable. Honestly, wasting me time. Right, cheers, everyone.
About the viewers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, and I think they both very much enjoyed it, Baz. So yeah, usual places, like, rate, review, etc. Tell your friends. Have some bets, win them, and we'll come back to talk about it on Sunday night. I'm going to hop across into the MLB YouTube now to give Moonaf some grief under the cover of darkness. Cheers, Baz. Appreciate it. Good luck, everyone. We'll be back Sunday. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.